Lovely to meet all of you and speak to you. I can't see you. I hope you can see me and hear me. You just heard the message from a fitness expert about what steps you need to do to become fit for life. Well, I can't claim to do anything like that. I can only advise you how you can become fat for life. So I'm here because to share my story with you. When I started college in Bombay, a very nice college, St. Xavier's College, nice big old buildings and lots of girls. Isn't that how we rate colleges in India? Lots of girls. Well, so I entered that college not knowing what I'm going to do with my life. But people suggested, yes, Jimmy, you must go into this college only because it's got lots of girls. But do I take science? Do I take arts? What do I do? Which is easier? Arts. Take arts. Okay, so I took arts. No idea where I was going in life. So where did I spend most of my time? In the college canteen, looking at girls and wondering why the hell am I studying subjects like economics and politics? ठीक है जाने दो, जो होगा होगा. But I would stand in the quadrangle of the college and there was a staircase going up the one building and we'd all go up that building to the top to the first floor. And all the boys went on the right class, the classroom on the right, on the left, and that was the economics class. All the girls went onto the classroom on the right, and guess what class that was? Psychology. I wanted to go to study psychology actually. Well, where did I go? I went to the economics class. Why? Because I was the only guy who would end up in the psychology class and I would get teased out of hell. So I ended up taking economics. I also felt I can make a life making money, make a life making fame, wealth, money, all those kind of things. Psychology, कितना पैसा बना सकते हैं? Not much. Economics से किस तरह तो जाएगा तो I'll end up either in the government or in business or something. And then of course my family after college insisted that I should go to England and do my CA. So I went there also. Now, I had a younger brother who was a little smarter than me. So he ended up going to Switzerland into a college there, doing his MBA. He was 5 years younger. At some point in time, we contacted each other and spoke. And he had not seen our parents for 3 years. Yeah, let's go back and have a holiday in Bombay. In Bombay, my father, very enthusiastic about religion and all that, we all trundled into a car, into cars, two cars, and drove off from Bombay up north into the state of Gujarat. The Parsi main yatra is the main fire temple is. On the way there, on a Gujarat country road, a truck came hurtling down the road. My father went off the road into the paddy fields, and our little Fiat Padmini car went straight into the truck, headlight into headlight. So I was not conscious of the story at all, and I'm still not conscious of it. So I have no experience of it. I only know that I woke up in a hospital briefly for a few seconds. I did not know where it was, what it was. The room was weird, yellow color on the wall. The bed was thin, and I had a turban on, plaster on my left arm, and a plaster on my right leg. I had no sense of time, nothing. Time did not exist for me. Slowly, through gradually increasing moments of consciousness, I gained the knowledge that I was in a hospital and that these white looking creatures hovering around me were nurses. So I said, where? How come I am in a hospital here? Then I thought, where was I going? I was going to Udwada, yes, the Parsi fire temple there. Must be the hotel over there. And maybe I had too much beer to drink or something to drink. I said, oh, this is what a hangover feels like. No, it must be, hangover cannot be so bad. Then I wondered, what the hell is wrong with me? Where am I? Got the idea that maybe I fell from the veranda of the hospital down on the ground after getting drunk. But neither that was true. Then time passed, I don't know how much time, minutes, hours, days, and my parents came to see me, and I found out from my father what had actually happened. So, ठीक है, sudden change in life. Can you imagine you're all well and happy right now? Listening to me, at least well, I don't know about happy, listening to me. And tomorrow morning you wake up, you're all broken, you lost your family member, and it's a completely different place. It's an unbelievable story. So anyway, they booked me into a big hospital in Bombay, which is about 4 or 5 hours away drive. And I was put into an ambulance along with my brother and the two others who were in the car with me. And we set off for the hospital in Bombay. My family followed in their big car. Arrived at Bombay Hospital. They told the doctors, everyone who checked me, told everyone, no medical interventions just now because he's in a very fragile state and he may not make it. So let's see which way he goes. Whether he comes out on the living side when he comes out on the dead side. They monitored me. And after 72 hours, they figured I was going to be alive. And I was rushed to the operating theater. And the first thing they operated on was my head. It was broken in few places. My brain, which was damaged, bleeding, etc. And had concussion of the inner ear over here, which is why I can't hear you, etc. Bad fracture here and bad fracture here. So somehow I managed to survive all this, even though the doctors and nurses thought I would never walk again. I would be in bed for the rest of my life. Soon one day I was allowed to sit in a wheelchair. I felt like celebrating. Then from a wheelchair I was allowed to uh, take help and walk. I was given one crutch. They thought I would never walk again. And then one fine day I was home, still with a crutch, and some friends called me over and said, Jimmy, why don't we go to this discotheque that's at the Taj? I said, take it, let's go. So we went up to that discotheque, and at that discotheque I was the only guy with a crutch, and there were a bunch of girls, they all wanted to dance with a guy on the crutch. It was a great thing, new thing for them to do, novelty. I had a good time, yeah. All the girls asking me one by one for a dance. Why did I have a good time? Because I had one crutch, and I told them, I need some support on this side also. So I put my arm around the girl. She was quite happy with that. She was happy, I was happy also. At that time, there was a couple dancing at the far end of the dance floor. I remember on my right. And the woman kept turning and looking at me. I was wondering what was going on. Then suddenly she leaves the guy on the dance floor and comes running towards me, with tears streaming down her cheeks, shouting out my name. How does she know my name? Comes up to me, she grabs me, kisses me all over. I said, wow, this is some new kind of discotheque, yeah. I must go regularly to this discotheque. Turned out that the young lady was the hospital or the nurse from the hospital. And when I left, they were all thinking I would never be able to walk again. And here she sees me dancing in the discotheque. So she said, wow. And in this way, I kept receiving tremendous amount of unconditional love, spontaneous, impulsive, unconditional love during my recovery period. Another episode was the doctors had told everybody, including my parents, do not tell him that his brother was killed in the first accident. So I would ask about my brother, and the nurse would say, yeah, he's in room number 332, and he's also suffering like you. I would ask for more details, they wouldn't give it to me. So one fine day, the doctors told my parents, now you must go and tell him that his brother couldn't make it. So my parents came over, hospital door opened, my parents are there with long faces. They come up to me, hold my hand, and they tell me my brother was killed in the first accident itself. Because the ambulance, what I forgot to tell you, also had an accident on the way to Bombay. So I actually survived somehow 2 accidents on the same day. Even after 2 accidents in the same day, I managed to survive. My parents held my hand and told me that my brother didn't make it in the first accident, the first crash. I said, but the nurses are telling me that room 332, yeah, is getting better every day. What do you mean? You're mistaken. And no, he didn't make it in the first accident. Then when I realized what they were saying was true, a complete veil of blankness, not even silence, but complete blankness swept over me. And for a few minutes, I was just completely blank, numbed by this thought. I got into a fit of rage, terrific anger. And I shouted at God, you call yourself God? I mean, what is the reason of doing this to me or to my family? What have we ever done to you? We are on our way to pay pilgrimage to you, and you do this to me? You destroy my family, take my brother from me, almost completely destroy me. So then I started with the worst gali that I knew, and I know quite a lot of gali, by the way. I went to school in Dehradun, and the worst gali that I knew, I thought the only way I can punish God is to shout gali at him at the top of my voice. So I shouted gali at MCBC. I won't say the words here because I don't know. We're all young people. I don't want to corrupt your ears. And I just went at the top of my voice continuously. I didn't realize, I was so angry. I didn't realize that all the nurses in the hospital are very Christian, Catholic nurses, very religious nurses. And this was obviously upsetting them quite a lot. Next day, my hospital door opens, my room door opens, and there's a Spanish Jesuit priest from my college, St. Xavier's College, who was standing there, named Father Filella. He was the head of the psychology department. And Father Pillala was standing in the doorway, full his priestly gown and his cross and whatnot. I saw him, I said, you started shouting gali at the hospital nurses. You think you're going to frighten me off by sending a priest to see me? MCBC lagaya. You know what happened, Father Pillala? I thought he would run away or he'd come over and hold my hand and beg me not to shout blasphemy at God. He didn't do any of that. He slowly walked up to me, and in complete silence, he simply held my hand and allowed me to just say whatever I wanted to say. Suddenly, I felt his unconditional love penetrate my anger like a hot knife cutting through butter. And then, when I felt that, I stopped cursing God and I started crying. He just held my hand, said nothing, allowed me to cry. And at that moment, I felt his very, very deep unconditional love. And I began to feel love for God again. And I've never felt that kind of love before. So that was the second initiation into the field of love. After I recovered from hospital and was home, or even during hospital, my father would come and complain to me that Jimmy Bhai, before your accident, you were such a quiet fellow, introverted, shy of girls. Can you believe it? Shy of girls. Would never talk. I would beg you to talk. Whenever you were in a party, I would beg you to talk. You're so shy and introverted, reserved. Now, after the accident, what's happened to you? I can't stop you to. I'm begging you to stop talking here. I can't stop you from talking so much. Talking, joking, they're all doing it. My personality changed 360 degrees. I had become a new person. Now, as I recovered, I was still perplexed with the problem. What do I want to spend my life with? But my life had a new meaning to me. And I was really serious about what do I spend my one and only limited life with? What do I do? So at first I was filled with ambition and aggression and wanting to take over the world and become another Godrej or another Tata. But soon that feeling started disappearing, running away. And soon I wanted to make my life, instead of becoming rich and famous, I wanted to make my life into something that was more meaningful. And the power of meaningfulness then I began to realize. I was married by that time, so I had to call my wife, take her to a restaurant, and on the table I told her, I'm sorry, all these ideas I shared with you about becoming big, building a big business house in my name and all these things, I don't feel like doing that anymore. What I now feel like doing is something more meaningful with my life. But what, Jimmy, what will you do more meaningful? I said, I don't know, but I'm thinking along those lines. Then somewhere I met this psychoanalyst friend of mine, and I decided to go to him for some psychoanalysis. From being his patient, I became his friend, and I said, I want to learn. And so he took me in more as a student than as a patient, and my first training in psychoanalysis began with him. Yes, I learned the theory of psychoanalysis, etc., and that was all well and good. But what I really found really meaningful, which I learned from him, which he tried to wash into me, were a few things. Never judge anybody. Never judge anybody. Not outwardly nor inwardly. We are not competent authorities to pass judgment on anyone else, not even pass judgment on ourselves. Who is the competent authority on that? I don't know his name. Some of you call him God. But I am not infinite. I'm finite. I nearly died. I must know I'm finite. So I'm certainly not competent to judge other people. I'm certainly not competent to criticize other people, to blame other people. I'm not competent to do that to myself either. And the next thing he taught me was how to differentiate between an assumption and an observation. We all have read books and theories about power of the now, the present. Well, there's no more powerful present than what you observe happening in the present moment. And at that point, around that point, I decided to take up and get trained in psychoanalysis. And it is this two traits that I had acquired that have helped me through life And I realized it would have helped me whether I was an engineer or a psychotherapist or whatever. Don't judge anybody, not even yourself. Don't blame anybody. And learn to observe and express your observations. So if I saw you feeling low and sad, I'd say, you seem to be feeling very low and sad right now. I would not say, you are a depressed person and you need to get treatment for depression. No, because that would be a generalization. I would not like to generalize. I would not like to say things, oh, you are always like this, yeah. I would simply say what I observe in the moment. And I found that was much more powerful way of interacting with someone than making generalizations. You see, so if anything I want to leave with you are some of these very important basic lessons that I learned in life. I learned another thing. I don't know how and where I learned it, but I began to realize that I am not infinite. I was born, I'm going to die. So I'm limited. Am I really a competent authority to pass judgment or to blame or to have an argument or to try and change anybody? No, I'm not. What makes me competent to try and change you? If you want to change, you are the only authority who has the competence to change yourself. So that is the basic theory I use as a psychotherapist working in Bombay for more than 25 years with all kinds of people, bipolar, all kinds of people. And whenever I faced a conflict with anyone, I would remember this, that I'm finite, I'm not infinite. So I'm not going to think of that other person as, hey, you're talking bullshit, man. He's talking from his experience. He's talking from his belief system. He's welcome to them, just as I am welcome to my own. And I found that that brought me a lot of happiness in life, a lot of peace and calm, you know? So basically, these are the things that I started learning through all my pain and turmoil. And I realized that the human race has put far too much accent and focus on intelligence, logic, science, manufacturing things that are of convenience. Leadership without love is what? It's bullshit. But you can't talk about love, yeah, Jimmy. We guys don't need love. We are guys. Love is a very girly thing, and so we look down upon it. But that therein lies the tragedy, because there's a lot that we guys could learn from girls. I have learned about love from my wife, from other girls. I've learned a lot. And the most powerful force, actually, more powerful than intelligence, is love. If we had more of a culture of love today than intelligence, perhaps we would not be killing each other in Israel or in Tehran, the Gulf of Hormuz. We need to have more hate, more love in this world than we need to have hatred. Don't you think so? So we should really talk about love. We should really talk about growing our connectivity rather than discriminating, dividing, and destroying. Right? So these are the things that I learned. These are the lessons that were forced on me, which I am now using in my work with people and the message I want to reach out to people with. I put into two books that I've written so far. The first book is about my journey. It's called Journey Beyond. The second book is about how we deal with differences, and it's called Celebrating Differences. Both are available Amazon, Kindle, etc. So why should we celebrate differences? Yeah, and whenever we come across a difference, we say, "Che, yeah, headache." He goes on and on like this. So when we confront differences, what immediately happens? What psychologists call fight and flight syndrome. Either run away or we fight that person. Why can't we instead celebrate differences? Because without differences, there's nothing we could ever learn in this world. There could be no learning. There could be no enjoyment. There could be no fun. Imagine going for a holiday or vacation to your own hometown. Yeah, I've seen all this. What is the big deal? Yeah, I'm not interested. I'd rather go to Japan or Sri Lanka or someplace like that, where the food is different, culture is different, people are different. But if I'm going to take my young nephew to the zoo, will I take him to a zoo where in every cage there's a gray monkey, same age, same sex? Come on, yeah. You call yourself a zoo? Monkeys I can see here in Delhi, lots of them. So think about this. Think about this in terms of your own life. That you need to start thinking about your life quite seriously, especially when you're in college. And I do believe I'm in college right now, right? So think about your life. What do you want your life to be? You only have one life. What do you want to make of your life? What should be the purpose of your life? Fame, money, wealth, that sort of thing. Whole life. Or I want a life that is meaningful. The one thing that people miss out on leadership training is how to create meaningfulness for themselves and how to create meaningfulness for others. The true leaders that we remember today are the ones who helped others to achieve meaningfulness. I know that from personal experience. So please realize you've got a lot of thinking to do about right now. Yeah, the girls are there, you can always enjoy them, but do some thinking also about your life. What is the purpose of your life? I don't know, yeah. What is the potential of your life? I don't know, yeah. So if you don't know, then who knows? Are sure, yeah. I'll worry about it after 5, 10 years. Too late. Worry about it, think about it now. Now, once you have the opportunity to do that, think about it now. Prepare for it. None of the bachelor degrees in college are going to teach you this. But it's a very important lesson for you all to learn. Learn it now. I was once asked by my psychoanalytic friend, trainer, okay, Jimmy, okay, you keep saying you want to make money. Take it. How much money do you want to make? Give me one figure. And I'm asking you, each and every one of you, the same question. Think of one figure of money that you would like to make every month. Write it down. And then once you made your commitment there, make a commitment there. Once you made your commitment there, then think about it. That after that making of commitment, you are not going to ever want not even 1 rupee more than that per month. I bet you won't be able to do that. Because once you made a commitment to a sum of money per month, once you achieve that sum of money per month, you'll instantly want more than that. Yeah, I can make more than this, yeah. So the search, the desire for money is an unending thing. You'll always be in a state of wanting more. How can you possibly be happy if you're in that state? But if you help people to find meaningfulness in their lives, if you help people to find happiness, if you help yourself to find happiness by doing this, then you got it made. So I sat my wife down, I told her I don't want to do this money anymore, this business anymore. Instead, I want to start training myself, practicing as a psychoanalyst. She said, what? Yeah, no more business plans, no more big business uh, firm and business. No, I want to become a psychoanalyst. I almost thought she had tears in her eyes when she heard that, but she didn't. She's been extremely supportive to me up all through. So thank you all and love you all and learn to love everyone and introduce selflessness in your life, not just selfishness. With that message, love you and leave you. Thank you.